really understand the concept of banking. All the banks are broke. Bank Santander, Deutsche Bank, Royal Bank of Scotland, they're all broke. And why are they broke? It isn't an act of God. It isn't some sort of tsunami. They're broke because we have a system called fractional reserve banking, which means that banks can lend money that they don't actually have. It's a criminal scandal, and it's been going on for too long. To add to that problem, you have moral hazard, a very significant moral hazard from the political sphere. And most of the problem starts in politics and central banks, which are part of the same political system. We have counterfeiting, sometimes called quantitative easing, but counterfeiting by any other name. The artificial printing of money, which if any ordinary person did, they'd go to prison for a very long time. And yet governments and central banks do it all the time. Central banks repress the amount of interest that rates are, so we don't have the real cost of money. And yet we blame the real retail banks for manipulating LIBOR. The sheer effrontery of this is quite astonishing. It's central banks that manipulate interest rates, Commissioner. And plus, underneath all this, we talk loosely, in a rather cavalier fashion, do we not, about deposit guarantee. It is my opinion that you do not.
I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS. Shalom to the hopeful elect, preaching his word in truth and sincerity. And to you ribs and to your sisters out there, staying in silence and staying in order. Right, Shalom. So, you know, there's a lot going on in the media, you know, exposing Amalek, you know, the small hatters. They are the head of the tribes of Edom. You know, it's funny because when you start looking deep into it, these small hatters look at Esau as Esau, you know what I mean? But they consider themselves outside of that, you know what I mean? Like, they will literally point out who Esau Edom is, and there's basically a war between Esau and Esau, right? You know, because he's so damn greedy. You know, he can't, you know, scriptures say that, you know, he who is evil to himself, to whom he will be good to, right? Paraphrasing. So this man, you know, through his control, has isolated his own tribe, and within his own nation, he doesn't care. You know, he just deals with his own tribe. And I've read in other places where the goal of the small hatters is to get rid of Esau. And diminish the numbers, so that they're the head tribe and the only tribe of Esau. You know, it's crazy. You know how evil this man is, man. Like not even Jake, you know, decides to completely obliterate one tribe. You know what I'm saying? Purposely, like, you know, there was wars here and there in the ancient times, but ain't nobody was trying to exterminate a whole, you know what I mean, a whole tribe like Amalek is, man. And the reason why I'm exposing this, because we need to know, we need to break down the system. You know, we need to, in the military they call it compartmentalization. The opposite of that is basically to just fracture everything so you could dissect it and see what it is. You need to know who and what the power structure is of the system, which is Amalek at the top, through money, right? Through mammon. Once you realize that, once you go follow the money, you realize, like, wow, this thing's pretty deep, man. And then you start looking at what he did, and then what he made the other tribes do, and, you know, Esau, Edom, you start noticing how evil really it is, man. And once you realize how that is and how deep you go into it, it helps you further separate and sever yourself from the system. See what I'm saying? That's why I like bringing these things out. Let's see, here it is. So here was a quote from a speech from Rabbi Rabinovich You gotta have to look hard for this because they try to take it out of the internet, man. And this is all I could get out of it. So he said these things in number down, right? It's like more like a paragraph. It says, number one, if it is a quote unquote forgery, it implies that there is an original somewhere. Where is it? Who wrote it? Number two, where is it a forgery or not is irrelevant for the simple reason that our Z to the I to the O NIST small hat brothers have already implemented most, if not all of it. That is a fact. Every small hat who reads the protocols know that it was written by the small hats. No one else could have written them. Number three, the Gentiles are really stupid. Parentheses, sorry. Until now, they did not realize yet that the Zionists essentially control them. Right? So they're saying that the people that did not know that they were being under control did not know, and they were stupid for not knowing until now, which is basically too late, right? That's what they're saying. Right? It says, number three, it is very sad. Most honest and honorable small hat thinkers and intellectuals articles are posted today on Muslim websites only. Number five, as a person who grew up on a small hat ethic, I am at a great loss and shame to see our Zionist rabbis justifying the present Muslim Holocaust in the name of God and our small hat religion. One thing I am sure of, if there is a God, he is not Zionistically a small hatter. After reading many non-Zionist small hatter websites, I started believing, as do many rabbis in New York, that the Zionism is Satan hijacking our small hat religion. The irony, right? He's saying that this infrastructure within this religion is hijacked by Satan. You know, Revelation says, I know the blasphemy is of those that say that are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan, right? You guys all are the sheep house of Satan, man. That's your God. That's your power, man. Through the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. That's what he gave you. Where'd I leave off at? Let me see. Alright, so here we are. It says some of the emails were complaints that they could not buy the protocols of elders of ZIO. And this is true, as we small hat control most of the printing and book distributions in the USA and many other countries. I have to go myself to okay, I can't read all that website. It says I printed it and made 100 copies and distributed them all to all my friends and all members of my synagogue. I encourage everyone to distribute them to as many friends as possible, unless the stupid Gentiles understand that the Zionist agenda. We are marching blindly into World War III as lemmings off the cliff. I would like to thank you, Jeff, for your wonderful website and for being the best source of knowledge on the internet for small hats. I took the time to write you this second comment, as I feel that it is our responsibility as small hats to alert the world to the dangers of Zionism. Sincerely, Rose Rabovich, and there is his, I believe, email. He's a former Zionist out of Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. This is him telling you from his own mouth, right? Look this shit up. Well, not from his own mouth, but I guess from his email. And this got taken out of the internet, right? But this is part of the curses, man. It says here, Deuteronomy 28:43, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail, right? It's no coincidence that the money has a head, and the back of it has a tail, right? This is how they move, man. Yahweh Shema Shai is giving us clues, man. Even when you look at the dollar bill, you know, everybody knows this, but in case you don't, there's a pyramid back there on one side, on the left side. On the right hand side has an eagle, you know, symbolizing that Egypt will be our first captivity, and Edom will be our last captivity. So they know. So verse 45, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, in which he commanded thee. Right? Verse 46, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So that's how we identify who the Israelites are, who are under the curses, the real Israelites, right? So with that being said, you know, we're just exposing the lies of the infrastructure. We're gonna fracture the infrastructure, right? So by doing this, we put out the information, and the information does its thing. And Lord willing, this is edifying, and on to the next.